Now, let's talk a little bit about when we ran the Magic Metric site, the magicmetric.com site.
Okay.
And we thought the Magic Metric, we were going to pick up, we thought that we were like 10 years ahead of our time because there's a site called apbr.org, the Advanced Professional Basketball Research Association,
right,
that Jose Martinez turned me on to. And people are into plus minus and efficiency and there's, Dean Oliver, does a lot of stuff. And a lot of people are really hung up on different ways of actually measuring the very best rating system for basketball players. Now, what we wanted, we were players, and we just wanted to win games. So that was our focus. And so I didn't really go out to try to make the Magic Metric known as the best player rating system, but we think it's a pretty good one,
It's an excellent system.
Yeah, and so when we talk about who the best players are of all time, or even in a season, there's a lot of things. Someone like Tim Duncan, who's still averaging over 0.6 per minute, he used to average over 0.7 per minute. Great player. And Kobe Bryant, who averages about 0.57 per minute, but Kobe Bryant plays 10 minutes more per game than Duncan. Duncan has a higher metric per minute. Kobe plays more minutes. Who's the better basketball player? So I created a rating system where you take the Magic Metric per game and the Magic Metric per minute, and you multiply the two to rate the better basketball player. It's just a wag. You could argue with it, but in one of the papers that I put up there in the 2011-2012 season, that was, I do the listing, LeBron James, Kevin Love, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, Dwight Howard, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Blake Griffith, Allen Jefferson, Dwayne Wade, Russell Westbrook, Josh Smith, Andrew Bynum, Aldridge, Nowitzki, and so on,
Right.
So those are, it's not a bad player rating system. If people want to argue about, I'm just not into the minutiae of all the other stuff, but it's clearly identifying good players in an order that's relatively, good. Now, if they're playing on the same team, it's almost a foolproof way of getting the best player, things. Now, we did a little rating of all the best players of all time, but it was hard because a couple things. The best basketball players of all time, because what does it mean by being the best basketball player of all time?
That's the thing. It's different things to different people.
Right. So
I mean, some people measure it by championships.
Right.
Some people measure it by making the players around them better.
Right.
And
well, first of all, do you take the overall average of their stats, or because someone like, how many years did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar play?
Yes.
20 years, 22?
20-some. I mean, it's over 20 years, I think.
So what we thought is, if you're going to rate the NBA players, first of all, if you don't have all the stats, and they didn't even have a three-point shot back when Pistol Pete.
Some when Pete Maravich was playing, and certainly during the early Celtic years.
But we took a stab at it back. This is back when Shaq was still young in the league, and what we did was we thought the thing that made the most sense was to take the 10 best years. It seemed like 10 years, people should make 10 years, okay?
Right.
So like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we're not going to evaluate him over his 22-year career. We're going to take his 10 best years.
The 10 best years.
Compare them to Larry Bird's 10 best years. And Larry didn't really have 10 great years because he had back trouble.
He had back trouble in the last few
8.5 really great years.
Right.
And so Larry Bird loses a little spot or two because of not having 10 great years. But Michael Jordan clearly had 10 good years, went and played baseball for a little while, but you still take his 10 best year.
He had 0 good years in baseball, but anyway.
Oh, that's right. But we actually created what we call the mini Magic Metric because we kind of ignored some of the stats. But Wilt Chamberlain was number one because of his stats were so enormous. If you look at his 10 best
could not be ignored.
Right. And Michael Jordan was number two, and I think Oscar Robertson was three, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was four. And this is before, and then we had Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Karl Malone, and Charles Barkley. And then we had some older players back in there like Jerry West. And
Bob Pettit.
Bob Pettit was
in
there.
there.
Yeah. And so, and then right outside the top 10 was the Admiral and Hakeem Olajuwon, and David Robinson and Mr. Championship guy, Bill Russell.
Yeah.
And they were like in the top 15. And now if you go look at the league, you're going to know LeBron James and Kevin Durant are going to be on the list. Kobe Bryant is probably a top 20 player. I don't think he's a top 10 player,
Of all time? No,
of all time?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. He's a great player.
Yeah.
He's a great player, but top 20 all time?
Allen Iverson was never.
Top 10 all time, certainly not.
We're not big fans of Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson is an extremely talented player. I think his best league, did he ever shoot over 43%?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, but
maybe in his MVP year.
He won MVP.
Yeah.
If you look at Allen Iverson, he would have been the one person that would benefit the most from the metric.
Oh, man.
Because if you actually look at him, a third of the shots he's taking are bad shots. A bad shot is a shot he's going to make less than 30% of the time. And he's taking, if he didn't take those shots, he would be a better player. So he really just took too many shots.
Absolutely.
He didn't have a conscience. There wasn't anybody going to mitigate him. But if he was playing in there and he actually lost the position to number one, he would have figured it out.
Yeah, I think so. And I think him not taking the bad shots would also help his teammates.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think in many instances when he's taking more shots than the entire rest of the team, then the rest of the team just kind of sits around and watches him play.
Right.
And so, but anyway, I think I say he's a great player, and the fact that he scored as much as he did for the height that he had, and
phenomenal
talent.
Yeah.
Talent.
But but if you actually look at John Stockton, who was 0.6 per minute consistently, all-star, Allen Iverson should have had a higher metric per minute than John Stockton for talent-wise.
Right.
But he wouldn't have. Allen Iverson never had a point, even when he won MVP, never had a 0.6 per minute season.
Right.
And, John Stockton was 0.6 per minute for the best 10 years of his career over it.
For a guard, didn't he finish over 50% for his career?
Yeah, he shot over 50%.
Over for his career.
Yeah.
For a guard, that's pretty.
All the best. If you're Charles
amazing.
Barkley, over 50%.
Sure.
Larry Bird, over 50%.
But,
Magic Johnson, over 50%.
John Stockton had very few dunks.
He was a good three-point shooter. Steve Nash, I think Steve Nash is over 50% for his career.
Yeah.
Great player. Even though he probably did not deserve 2 MVPs.
Probably not.
But
another great talent.
Right. Shaq, back in the day, when we first started keeping this thing, Shaq was the most dominant player in the NBA. He was the only person consistently 0.7 and above. Right now, LeBron was 0.7, and I bet you this year, I'm going to do the stats. In fact, what I'll do is I'll publish the NBA stats. I'll do a thing on this at the end of this one. I'll do it's about the All-Star break. This is 2014. It's close to the All-Star break, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so what I'll do is I'll run all the stats again to see how people are doing for this year.
Performing in this year. Okay.
But I think Kevin Durant, to me, is a phenomenal player. LeBron James is a phenomenal player. Kevin Durant, my bet, one of those two guys may maybe be the best player to ever play the game. I don't know. How do you pick between them? But anyway, this is kind of fun. I'll put in this video. I'll put some pictures up. I'll put this 2011, 2012 NBA player rating up, and I'll probably do a new one and put that up there too. And I guess we're more pumped about the rotation system.
Oh, love the rotation system. It's funny. We were pumped about the magic metric, but I think
the funny thing about this was we did not even think we're creating something of value. We just wanted the arguments to go away. Right. And I wanted to get more playing time. So I thought, hey, I paid $50, I should get at least 10 minutes. But
I didn't want to have to shuffle people in and out just at random after having played a game.
And what I found out is actually I played so smart that I was in the finishing 5 in those industrial leagues. I shouldn't have been, because everybody should have been playing ahead of me, and eventually I got pushed out of the finishing 5. as Carlos got playing better and people played better. And that was the history. I like to be the old guy that comes out there and plays pretty decently and makes those young people get their game up above me.
Well, the other thing is, since you developed the system and you're a smart guy, you know what hurts you the most during your minutes.
Turnovers.
Turnovers are the worst thing ever.
Yes.
Okay, for your metric.
Or even missed shots. I didn't like to take bad shots because I don't want to miss shot.
You don't want missed shots. Okay, but the people who didn't know the system certainly learned fast enough.
Oh yeah, they
what
fast.
Caused them to be out
That's
of
right.
to lose to go down in the positioning of the line.
Kids might have 7 points per game, and I have 2.5 points per game, but I'm playing ahead of them. So they're studying what that's about.
Yes.
My play is this guy's 6'5", and he is like around the basket. Who do you play closest to? Who's the best?
They used to compare me to Kevin McHale.
Yeah, he has these awkward little jerky moves, and the ball goes in. So my whole thing was to move the ball around and get the ball to Jeff in a position where Jeff had nobody between him and the basket. And one of my favorite ways is to bounce the ball off the which, by the way, those kids kept stats when I was in the game. How many times did I try to bounce something that they didn't give me the assist?
Oh, they won't give you assist for that.
Give me a missed shot.
They give you missed shots. Yes.
They'll give you the rebound.
I get the rebound and the bucket.
Yeah,
yes.
But you know that I'm giving you the assist.
I know it's the assist. But you
had a lot.
You gave me enough of the standard type assists.
Yeah.
So
it didn't matter. You know, the thing is, it's an imperfect system.